from the station working for you. This is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
Thanks so much for joining us for this digital edition of the news at 6 o'clock. I'm Nicole Griffin. Voters lined up to vote today at Lucas Oil Stadium. This is the first day the stadium is open for early voting. Lines were long, but surprisingly, most voters were able to get in and out in about 1 hour once things started rolling. This location has more polling machines than any other site in the city. We are told there are more than 50 machines inside.
Well, you know, I saw that they opened up the additional site and figured that this would be the one to try, particularly when I found out that they had like 56 machines, so I figured it'd be a little quicker.
Each time a voter finishes up using a polling machine, volunteers are stepping in to wipe the machines and sanitize them before another voter uses that station. Lucas Oil Stadium will be open again tomorrow for early voting from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. For the first time, the Postal Service is offering voters a chance to drop off their ballots directly to USPS employees to ensure that your vote is counted. Starting today and leading up to election morning, you can drive up to the main post office downtown on South Street and hand your ballot to employees. The ballots are then stamped and sent to be sorted on the spot to be prepared for the appropriate election board. The Postal Service has done this for many years with tax returns. This allows voters that have waited up until the last minute to make sure their ballots are delivered. The drop-off was supposed to start today at 2 p.m., but voters started lining up early around 11 a.m.
Across the street, there was a line wrapped around the building at Lucas Oil Stadium for people waiting to vote at the stadium. And I think that between that line and this line and the times we had people coming in, they wanted to drop off their ballots, so we were prepared and we got out here early to make sure we could do whatever it took to accommodate the voters.
The drop-off is done for today, but you can drop off tomorrow afternoon from 2 until 4, Monday from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m., and Marion County voters can drop ballots off on Election Day, Tuesday, from 8 a.m. until 10 a.m. All of these ballots will be delivered by noon on November 3rd. Candidates are making a final push to win your vote. Dr. Woody Myers, the Democratic candidate for governor, was at the city-county building in Indianapolis today. Myers is running against Republican Governor Eric Holcomb and Libertarian candidate Donald Rainwater. Myers says he's answering some last-minute questions about his policies, and right now he's just focused on leaving it all on the field.
We got to leave it all on the field. We've got to make sure that we're giving it our best shot, that we're communicating with voters all the way up to the last minute, and that's what we're going to do. There have been a few people that had good questions about my policies on voting, my policies on masks, my policies for COVID-19, and we've answered those questions as best we can.
Myers did stop at 3 polling locations today: Lucas Oil Stadium, St. Luke's United Methodist Church, and the city-county building. With just 3 days until Election Day, President Trump and Joe Biden and their running mates are barnstorming across several key battleground states. More than 90 million Americans have already cast their ballots, and amid the close race, officials are urging voters to drop off their ballots rather than mailing them in. Here's ABC's Alex Prochet with the details.
With just 3 days until Election Day, both campaigns making their cases to voters in key battleground states. President Trump holding 4 rallies in Pennsylvania, a state he narrowly won in 2016.
If I don't always play by the rules of Washington and the Washington establishment, it's because I was elected to fight for you, and I fought harder for you than any president in the history of our country.
Joe Biden and his top surrogate, President Barack Obama, campaigning together for the first time, holding socially distant drive-in events in Michigan, hoping to take back a state President Trump won by just 11,000 votes 4 years ago.
Tuesday, everything is on the line. Our jobs are on the line. Our health care is on the line. Whether or not we get this pandemic under control is on the line.
The former vice president continuing to hammer President Trump's handling of the coronavirus pandemic.
We have a president who's just given up. I will never raise the white flag of surrender. We're going to beat this virus, and we're going to get it under control.
As the race intensifies, the vice presidential candidates are on the trail in the South. Senator Kamala Harris in Florida, vying for the state's 29 electoral votes.
Joe Biden and I are proud, patriotic Americans who share the values with the vast majority of the American people who want a president of the United States who speaks truth.
Vice President Mike Pence in North Carolina, where polls show a tight race.
You said yes to President Donald Trump.
in 2016. I just know North Carolina is going to say yes to 4 more years of President Donald Trump in 2020.
Over 90 million Americans have already cast their ballots, a record for early voting. In Georgia, many stood in line for hours on Friday, their last chance to vote ahead of Election Day.
If you're not going to vote, then you can't complain.
In Texas, more than 9 million people have already voted. That's more than all of 2016. In light of the tight race, officials in some states now urging voters to drop off their ballots rather than mailing them to ensure they arrive on time. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
Alex, thank you. A reminder, we will have live coverage of everything happening next Tuesday on Election Day, live right here on WRTV. We'll look at all the key races, plus we'll have analysis and results when they come in. Look for us on the WRTV app on streaming devices such as Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, and Android TV. We will also provide you live results throughout the night here on WRTV with a complete wrap-up on the news at 11. Johnson County investigators have a 16-year-old in custody for the deadly shooting of a 15-year-old just outside of Greenwood. It happened Friday evening in the 3800 block of Chelsea Terrace. Witnesses said someone fired shots into a vehicle with 3 people inside. 15-year-old Cassius Davis was a front seat passenger in the car. He died at the scene. A 19-year-old man was in the car and was injured and taken to the hospital. The driver, also a teenager, was not wounded. The surviving teens told police they knew the shooter. Officers went to that 16-year-old boy's home and arrested him there. He faces charges of murder and aggravated battery. Now to our continuing coverage of the coronavirus and its impact on Indiana. The State Department of Health reports 3,505 new cases. 46 more Hoosiers have died with COVID-19, bringing the total number of COVID-related deaths to 4,096. Since March, more than 179,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. Nearly 3 million tests have been administered here in Indiana. Now to your forecast, meteorologist Todd Klassen here with us tonight on this Halloween. And Todd, I don't think people could have asked for better weather here in October.
You know, the last day of October, Halloween, and you're exactly right, Nicole. Beautiful outside, and the sun is finally setting on this Halloween. Hard to believe with the time changing here later on tonight into early Sunday morning that sunset tomorrow is going to be in the 5 o'clock hour. 57 degrees right now. The south wind helped to bring these temperatures up a little bit closer to normal. We're still sitting at 60 in Lafayette. 59 in Bloomington, 61 in Bedford. If you do have Halloween plans, if you're heading to a Halloween party, maybe just out to dinner tonight, or trick-or-treating in your neighborhoods, if they're having it, you're just fine. Temperatures slowly falling from the 50s back down into the 40s, but skies will be mainly clear. Big changes, though, are coming our way just as we enter the month of November, as this cold front is going to come through. Now, there's not a whole lot of moisture with this front, but I can't rule out overnight or early tomorrow morning the chance of a spot shower or two. But for the most part, it's just going to represent a wind change and a big temperature change as well. Today, the winds were out of the south, and it's going to become a little breezy here throughout the remainder of the evening. And as we head into Sunday morning, the winds are still out of the south. So your high temperature tomorrow is going to occur shortly after midnight. But look what happens here as we progress through Sunday morning. The winds are still southerly during the middle of the overnight hours. But once we get closer to sunrise, the winds are out of the northwest. And that's going to represent the drop in temperatures across the area. And it does remain pretty windy throughout the entire day tomorrow, as wind gusts will be up to right around 30 miles per hour. So we're probably still in the 50s after midnight. By the time many of you are waking up tomorrow at 7 a.m., 46 degrees. But look at this. By mid-afternoon, we are only in the 30s. These are actual temperatures. Let me go over to the real field temperatures, and this is what it's going to feel like tomorrow afternoon at the noon hour. At or below freezing in almost all locations. And then by the time we get to Sunday evening at 5 p.m., it's going to feel like it's in the 20s. So don't be deceived when you pull up your iPhone or an app and it's showing you temperatures tomorrow going to be for your highs right around 50. That's right after midnight. It's going to feel completely different during the daytime hours tomorrow. And then we get to Monday morning. These are your low temperatures to start your work week. We're going to be in the 20s. It's a hard freeze for us on Monday morning, but the good news is there's a nice warm up. Again, don't forget to turn your clocks back 1 hour. Sunrise tomorrow is at 7:13. Sunset is at 5:41. Here's a look at your 7-day planning forecast. Once we get past Monday morning with temperatures that will be in the 20s, we're back up to about 59 on Election Day. No weather-related issues. That's good news. And then look at that, Nicole. By the time we get to the end of the week and next weekend, highs will be right around 70 degrees.
Wow, 70 on Saturday. Thank you so much, Todd. Well, a lot of people like to paint the town on a Saturday, but in this case, it was about more than partying. It was about bringing art back to the streets of downtown Indy. 16 artists were invited to use pedestrian walkways near City Market as their canvas, and tonight we're seeing the colorful results.
So with these barricades and the construction going on, it's just a good initiative for the artists to be able to put their work out here on a public display, and also for them to brighten up downtown.
During today's art installation, members of the public were also invited to add their own touches to the artwork. And finally, tonight, a little Halloween history for you. Modern-day Halloween traditions like wearing masks and costumes, jack-o'-lanterns, trick-or-treating, bopping for apples, and the name of the holiday can be traced back centuries. Ball State University Associate History Professor Frederick Soupy says they can be traced back to Celtic celebrations during pre-Christian times. During those times, Soupy says, ancient Celts believed there were many spirits, both good and bad, starting on October 31st, and people should have their harvest inside, otherwise it would spoil.
And the belief is, have your harvest inside. There's all kinds of dark spirits that have been kept away by the bright, long summer sunny days. Well, now the dark spirits can come back, so be inside. Offer token nice bits of your harvest to the spirits out there so they'll be pleased and they won't cause malevolent problems.
Well, more modern-day holiday traditions like kids trick-or-treating in a neighborhood started to form since World War II. And Todd, it's looking good out there for those trick-or-treaters tonight.
Yeah, no issues whatsoever for anybody trick-or-treating. Temperatures holding pretty steady, Nicole. The big drop in temperatures occurs tomorrow. We're only in the 30s throughout the afternoon hours, but a nice warming trend throughout next week.
All right, Todd, thank you. And thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you tonight at 11 o'clock after college football. Have a great night.